Here with Taryn Torgerson, the assistant women's golf coach at University of Texas at San Antonio. How are you doing today, Coach?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you just finished up playing at Tulsa's event, and you have one more at Texas State to conclude your fall season. So, yeah, just tell me how your fall schedule has been going for your team. I know you've finished, I think it's third, fourth, and third, so no worse than fourth for your team. So I think it's been going pretty well. But tell me how your fall schedule has been going.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like you said, we finished in the top 4 in all 3 events, which is really good. In some really competitive fields, against some really good players. 2 out of the 3 events so far. One of our players, Cameron Carry-On, has won individually, which has been really, really cool. She's made it look extremely easy, and winning in golf is not easy at all. So it's been really fun to kind of have a front row seat to her success so far this fall, but seeing the team success as well, setting that new school record at North Texas with 27 under for that event was super cool for my first event. As the assistant here at UTSA, there's not really a better way to start it off than that. So it's been super fun working with the girls. They are a really great group and are playing some really good golf right now, leading into Texas State, which is probably the most competitive field we will see this fall. So to have some success under our belt this fall so far is really going to help us kind of as we gear up to the end of the season with Jim West there at Texas State. So I think we're going to use this week and next week to prepare, and then we'll give it our best shot.
Yeah. Can you just recap your team's recent third place finish in Oklahoma at Tulsa's event, and also like I said, can you just preview? You said it's going to have a very strong field at Texas State's event.
Yeah, so at Tulsa, the course is definitely like a ball striking course, shot placement course. So we really emphasized that going into it, and they played well. They rose to the challenge. Like I said, our senior won with 12 under over the course of the 3 rounds individually, which was awesome. And we only lost to the leaders by 4 as a team. So we feel good about where we are. Obviously, we want to win, just like everybody, but in terms of, being in that position, like we're close, and we know what it takes to win, and we're going to keep pushing the girls to hopefully get to that point. But we were pleased with how they played. We're definitely seeing progress. We have a freshman that's really come in and made an impact from the beginning, and she played really well for us. And so she's been a great addition to the team this year. And so we feel really good about who we have on the team. And as far as Jim West goes, that golf course I've never been, but from what I hear, it's kind of open. It's history shows in the past that it produces some pretty low scores. So we're hoping to be one of those teams that puts up some low numbers, and we're just going to go out and do what we've been doing. And we have a little bit of time to prepare, and we'll see what happens.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but listening to other interviews you've done, I believe that your father is a high school golf coach. So can you just tell me how you got started playing golf? What age you began playing, and just some early golfing memories you have growing up?
Yeah, for sure. My dad has been a high school golf coach my whole life. So it's kind of all I know. He also coached basketball for many years, but he still does coach golf. I have been playing since I can remember. So my brother and I were and normal kids went to daycare or something after school or whatever. And, my brother and I were at the golf course with our dad at practice. And so we were at the golf course with a club or a golf ball in our hand since we were, 3, 4, 5 years old. So we started at a really young age. We were just around it. And I think just watching my dad's success as a coach, he's won multiple state championships, both at Heston and at Buhler. So watching that kind of just gave my brother and I the bug to pick it up. And we kind of did it on our own with his influence, and it's kind of been the rest is history.
Yeah, so you mentioned you have a brother. He also plays golf did he play at Oral Roberts it is?
Yeah, so he played 2 years at Dodge City Community College,
Okay.
and then he finished his career at Oral Roberts in Tulsa.
Yeah, so did you get to play much golf with your brother growing up?
Yeah, we played all the time. We practiced together a lot with our dad. It was really fun as we got older that we were able to kind of support each other. I was able to go watch some of his college tournaments when I was still in high school. And then like when he was done with college, he was able to come and watch me compete. So that it was really cool just because we kind of, we had our battles back in the day, against each other and pushing each other and challenging each other as we were kind of growing up and getting into the game. So to be able to watch each other play and support each other at Division I level was really special for both of us.
Yeah. In high school, you attended Buhler High School, as you mentioned, in Kansas, where you were a four-time individual league champion and a part of two state champion teams. So can you just tell me about your high school experience and, what it meant to you to be such an accomplished golfer in your high school days?
Yeah, it was awesome. Those 4 years went by really fast, and I was, fortunate enough to have some success, like you mentioned. But the most enjoyable part of that whole experience, honestly, is not the wins or the championships. It's being able to play for my dad, and that's not something a lot of people get to the opportunity to do. And I was fortunate enough, I got to play for him in golf, and then he also was my high school basketball coach. So I got, double lucky, able to play for him in both of those sports. And, golf is a game that we've shared a love of my entire life, and he got me into it. So to be able to play for him and share all those championships and wins and accolades with him is definitely the most special part and something that I'll cherish forever. And there's some cool pictures out there of when I, won state my senior year, of just the embrace with him on the 18th green, my last high school round playing for him. And, those are things that are etched in my memory forever that I'll never forget. And like I said, those championships were fun, but, the two of us being able to do it together just made it that much more special.
Yeah. In high school, in addition to excelling on the golf course, you also excelled in the classroom. You had a 4.0 GPA all 8 semesters, so I think that's really impressive. Can you just tell me about this, having a 4.0 GPA, high school and the importance that you put on your academics during your high school time during high school?
Yeah, for sure. I think, a lot of that stems from just, the foundation that my parents laid for my brother and I growing up. Academics was always important, and, school was always going to be the number one priority. And my parents have always put a big emphasis on education, and they raised my brother and I to put that at the top of the priority list. It's cliche, but a lot of people say, the word student athlete is, the word student comes first for a reason, because you're a student first and an athlete second. As much fun as it is to win those championships and to compete on the court, the field, the course, whatever it may be, academics always comes first. And that's what takes you, into the real world after college or after, however far your sport can take you. And, I was fortunate enough to have success in golf, but, that was going to come to an end at some point, and I was only going to be able to play for so long. So getting the quality education and all of that was really important to me, and I take great pride in the grades that I was able to get in my GPA and all of that through high school and college. And winning those all-American scholar awards and those academic awards are almost just as important, if not more important, than the trophies that you hold winning golf tournaments or basketball games or whatever that is. So it's always been really important to our family. My brother is extremely disciplined in the classroom as well. He went to med school, and he's currently doing his residency at Duke in North Carolina. So he obviously took a different path than me, but he's the most hardworking and disciplined person I've ever met when it comes to school. And that also he was a great role model for me growing up as well.
That's really awesome. So after high school, you ended up attending Wichita State, and you played for the Shockers women golf team. Growing up, you grew up about an hour away from Wichita State, so was that always your goal, to go, to attend Wichita State and play for the Shockers, or, were you not sure were there like other schools you were looking at attending, or was your main goal just to attend Wichita State, being only an hour away from there?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at the beginning of the recruiting process, I didn't really have like a place that I was like, oh, I want to play here. I was just kind of going through the recruiting process, trying to get my name out there and try and put scores on the board to get noticed and things like that. And I took some visits and I looked at some other places as well. But when I went to Wichita State on my visit, just interacting with coach, the coaches, I should say, the team and things like that. Like when I walked away from campus, like I told my parents, like, this is it. Like it was a no-brainer. It didn't even compare to the other visits that I had been on. It was just a family atmosphere. We had great golf courses that we got to play. My former coach is just a big family guy, and I loved that because my family is really important to me. And when I went there, I having the opportunity to represent my home state and play Division I golf. Playing Division I golf has always been a dream of mine, and being able to represent my home state while doing it was just icing on the cake. So I would say that it wasn't like, the end all be all. I took a bunch of visits, kept my options open. But when it came right down to it, I knew the minute I stepped on campus and interacted with the coaches and the girls and the team and all the, support staff and everything that surrounded that program, that's where I wanted to be.
So while you were at Wichita State, you won the 2016 and 2018 conference championships. In the 2018 conference championship, you won in a playoff after shooting a final round of 8 under 64. So can you tell me about winning those two conference championships, and what it meant to you?
Yeah, it's an honor, truly. When I stepped foot on campus at Wichita State in 2014 as a freshman, I never even dreamed of doing those things. I just was begging a coach to take a chance on me because I knew that I was taking 6 months out of the year to play basketball every year, leading up to that, because basketball was important to me as well. And I was just begging someone to take a chance on me, knowing that if I could spend 12 months out of the year playing golf, I knew that I could make an impact. I knew I would get better and things like that. And Wichita State did that. And once I got there, I was all in, and I, put a lot of hours into my game. And I sat at home my freshman year at some tournaments. I didn't qualify, but that just, made me hungrier to work hard. And I wanted to be a part of, the success that they were having. The year before I got to Wichita State, they won their first ever conference championship as a team. And they returned everybody from that championship team. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I just kind of, put my foot on the gas, and for 4 years, never let it off. And my sophomore year there in the Missouri Valley, I put, 2 good rounds together, and coming down the stretch in round 3, my biggest goal going into that was we wanted to get a three-peat conference championship. I wasn't thinking about myself or the individual title whatsoever. And I didn't know, until I made that final putt on the last green and my teammates and coaches were like screaming and hugging me and all that kind of stuff. I was like, what is going on? Because I was just worried about, doing everything I could for the team to get that third straight conference title. So when I was able to kind of put myself out there and get that win, I think that's the moment that really kickstarted my career and really like made me realize like, hey, I can do this. I can compete at this level and have success. So that was a big kind of turning point, I would say. And then, moving to the American, obviously it was a tall task. And, that day I will never forget as long as I live. April 17th, 2018. It's always a day that I'll have in my head, a day that I'll have in my memory bank, shooting my career best round ever on my last day of playing college golf, winning in a playoff, winning the conference championship. Like I could not, script or dream of a better ending to my college career than that. And I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to play, at that course and to be able to do something like that. And still to this day, 5 years later, I still don't have the words to describe it. But, I put in a lot of time. I took my college experience very seriously. For 4 years, it was school, workouts, and golf for me. That's it. There was no extracurriculars. There was no parties. There was no nothing. Like, I was there on a mission, and I wanted to get the best that I could out of the 4 years that I was given. And fortunately, I was able to reap the benefits of that my senior year.
So I'm interested to know, so most people who are as accomplished as you would try to go, play some professional golf or things like that. But you're now a college coach, so I'm interested to know, was becoming a college coach ever part of your plan, or what exactly what was your plan or some of your goals after your college career?
Yeah, that's a good question, and a question that, a lot of people asked me kind of when I was finishing up my career. And, I looked at it. I looked at the potential of playing professionally after college, and not that, I didn't want to try. I mean, it was not something that I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. I looked at it and kind of looked into kind of what that life is and what that lifestyle is. But I was very happy with the career that I had. I ended it in a way that, like I said, I never could have dreamed of. And I was content with that. I had a couple injuries as well that kind of played a part. And, growing up, watching my dad coach my whole life, I saw firsthand the impact that he had on every player that walked into his program. And, my coach, Coach McCurdy at Wichita State, had that same impact on me. And him and my dad are a big reason why I'm coaching in college today. They both kind of laid that foundation and made me want to become a coach even more. But I've known from, middle school or high school that I wanted to coach someday. And when I got done with my college career, like, I had an absolute blast and loved every minute of it. And I wanted to be a college coach and give other young aspiring golfers that same opportunity to live their dream. And I don't regret for a second the decision I made to get into coaching right away, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today without that. So I'm extremely grateful for the path that I chose, and couldn't be happier with where I'm at today.
Yeah, so you began your coaching career as a student assistant at Wichita State. Can you tell me how you became a student assistant coach, and also what it was like to, manage your coaching duties along with getting your master's degree?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably early on in my career at Wichita State. I had started talking to Coach McCurdy about, me wanting to coach someday and all of that. My major was sport management, and I was fortunate enough that he kind of like let me do a few things that he was allowed to let me do as a player my senior year. I actually did some internship hours with him my senior year in the office, just kind of like getting some of the behind the scenes stuff, obviously that didn't involve, other players and things like that. And so when I decided that I wanted to get my master's, he was like, absolutely come and, be our student assistant or graduate assistant, whatever you want to call it. And so I did that for a year, and then the Newman job opened up in April. And, I told my coach that he was crazy when he told me I should apply for it. I was like, there's no way I'm going to get that. Like, I'm not, qualified for that. I just graduated, but he encouraged me to do it. And I applied, went through the interview process, and sure enough, I got the job and was just as shocked as anybody. But getting into coaching while also getting my master's was really difficult. Not so much at Wichita State, but when I got the Newman job and I was the head coach and trying to learn a new job, and my first ever like real coaching job, and trying to finish up my master's, like it was hard. I was doing homework just as much as my players were that first semester at Newman. And I took a couple summer classes so I could graduate in December instead of May. So I only dealt with it for one semester, but it was tough juggling both. But grateful that I did it. I'm proud that I can say that I finished my master's degree and I didn't give up on that. It was always a goal of mine to have that master's degree. And, looking back on it, like, yeah, it was tough. Sometimes I don't know how I did it, but I'm extremely grateful that I did and pushed through and, made sure that I got it done.
Yeah, so you talked about after Wichita State, you became the director of golf and head men's and women's golf coach at Newman University. So most coaches are either just the women's golf coach or just the men's golf coach. But what was it like for you? Being both the director of golf and both the men's and women's golf coach at Newman University. And can you just tell me a little bit about your time being head golf coach at Newman?
Yeah, so I first started out in as the head women's coach. My first year, I was just the head women's coach, and then our men's coach retired. So our administration approached me about taking over both programs and kind of restructuring the programs and kind of making me that director, and then kind of overseeing both programs. And it was a great experience. Obviously, it was a lot of work managing two programs and just not having a lot of like, there was me and like a part-time assistant trying to run two programs and do all the paperwork and the scheduling and the booking of hotels and and then not to mention just the practice and the tournaments and trying to develop players and help them and give them the attention that they deserve, playing golf at that level. So it was tough, but it was super rewarding at the same time. Like, I'm grateful for my experience. I encountered a lot of, crazy, tough things, but, I'm better because of it today. And I'll be forever grateful for the experience that I had there. I met some really great people. I got to coach some really phenomenal people and players. And I still have connections and people that I met there and that were other coaches there that I still talk to and I'm great friends with today. So I'm super grateful for my 4 years there. It definitely shaped me and got me ready for the role that I currently hold here at UTSA.
Yeah. What did you learn from your time being the head coach at Newman, and what did you take from your time being head coach at Newman?
Yeah, I just had to learn, as the head coach, like I was responsible for a lot of things. So I had to, learn how to just manage my time and organize things and make sure that, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that the players don't know about, and making sure that, everything was ready when we went to a tournament and planning practices and all of that kind of stuff. Like, it just taught me how to do all those things. And as a player, you show up when you're told to show up. You don't really know what goes into it. So being on the other side of it, you really get a feeling of like what your coaches do for you to be able to have the opportunity. Like, as a player, you show up to the van at 8 o'clock if that's when you're supposed to show up, and you go play golf, and everything else is taken care of, but somebody has to take care of those things, right? So just learning how to manage everything and manage stress and not getting overwhelmed. I mean, there was like 2 springs in a row that I was on the road 9 weeks in a row, between going to women's tournaments and men's tournaments and trying to give both teams equal attention and the attention that they deserve from their head coach. And there was a lot of guilt that went into that as well. Like, when you're with the women, you're, feeling guilty that you should maybe be with the men and vice versa. So there was a lot of that went into it, but I was able to learn a lot about myself and my coaching style and how to handle different situations. I had to encounter a lot of really just crazy, unique things. And that's really helped me with problem solving and critical thinking and all that kind of stuff. And there's players that come in that didn't have a swing coach. So I kind of became that. So just kind of developing players from the ground up and things like that, like just a wide variety of things at Newman. I was able to learn, and it was kind of like doing more with less, so to speak. We didn't have very much scholarship. We didn't have a very big budget, and being able to kind of manage those things and still get the best out of our kids and every day. But I mean, the list is long, but those are just a few things.
Yeah. So now you're in your first season as assistant women's golf coach at UTSA. How did you end up at UTSA? And, how difficult was it, going from being, head coach at Newman to now you're an assistant coach at UTSA?
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the job posting and applied for it. I did not know the head coach here at all beforehand. I just, took a leap of faith, applied, and, she reached out to me, and we had like a phone conversation, and then we set up a Zoom interview. And then a couple days later, I had a Zoom interview with all the support staff with the program. And I think it was, the whole process was a week from when she first reached out to me that she got my application to when she offered me the job. So, and I could tell in the interview process that, you know, she was the kind of person that I wanted to work for. You know, she expects a lot out of her players and her assistant coach, and has high standards, but she also just cares about her players and the people in her program so deeply. And that is, you know, something that I love. Like, she's so intentional about things that she does with the program, and her goals for the program is exactly what I wanted to be a part of. And so it was a no-brainer for me, and definitely an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And it's been a big change from Newman, just D2 to Division I. It's a lot bigger. We have it's just everything is different, and I think it would be that way no matter where you're at, because every institution does it differently. But to be here, like, the biggest change I would say is just like the two of us get to be a team and do everything for our women's program, whereas I was doing that for two programs with very little help because we didn't have the staff to do that. So the fact that her and I get to work together every day to, you know, help our players, develop our players, whether it's academically, as a person, and on the golf course, that's the really fun part of it, is we get to put our heads together and do whatever we can to be as successful as possible in the classroom and on the golf course. And that's been just super, super fun. And the biggest change is just kind of having that person to do it with, and knowing that they support you and you support them.
Yeah, so tell me, what is it like for you to be an assistant coach? And yeah, what are some of the major differences you found? You know, you were a head coach, but now you're an assistant coach. So what are some of the major differences between, you know, being a head coach and being an assistant coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Like, I absolutely love it. I love the role that I'm in right now, and extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here. It definitely is a change. Like, you go from being the head coach, and I was the head coach over both programs, where you have to make all those decisions yourself. Everything runs through you. You're doing it all. But you know, in my role now, like, we get to kind of, like I mentioned, like, we get to work together on those things. And, you know, the one thing that I really, really appreciate about my current boss is she's the head coach. She's going to make the final decisions. And, you know, she ultimately has that power, and that's awesome. But, you know, she really involves me in all of the decisions. I truly do think she values my opinion when she asks for it. I mean, I don't think she would ask for it if she didn't want it, you know? So we're able to talk through things and bounce ideas off of each other. And like I said, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, she is the head coach, and she has some of those responsibilities. And I obviously, like, my biggest strength, I think, is I've been a head coach before. So I know, like, what she goes through. Like, I know the things that are the stress that is a head coach carries. And, you know, that's something that, you know, my goal was to be able to take some of that load off of her, and for her to be able to focus on the things that she needed to focus on that were important. And I do a lot of the, you know, paperwork and booking of things, and that's totally fine. Like, I did all that as a head coach at Newman, and I'm doing it now, and we get to work together on all that stuff. And we kind of share responsibilities when it comes to that. And I really appreciate that about her and about this current position.
Yeah, so I'm interested to know, what are some of the goals that you have for the future of your coaching career? Like, do you see yourself ever, you know, trying to be a Division I head coach again, or you're not sure about the future of your career? You're just enjoying, you know, your current role at UTSA. You know, what are some of your goals you have for the future of your coaching career?
Yeah, I mean, long term, you know, my goal for a while has always been to, have my own Division I program, for sure. I obviously, that's going to take time, and I'm, you know, still needing to learn and grow and develop. And, you know, I feel like I am 100% enjoying my current role that I'm in right now. And I have learned so much in just the short time that I've been here so far. My boss is awesome. Like I've learned so much from her, and she's intentional with me and gives me really good feedback. And I feel like I've already grown as a coach and as a person since I've been here, just because of the leadership that she's provided to me. And the girls have been super welcoming. Like the transition with building relationships with them was way smoother than I ever dreamed that it would be. And that's a testament to the kind of program that my boss, Coach Batiste, has created here. Like UTSA she's built a culture here, surrounded by good people and really good players, and they've accepted me with open arms. And it truly feels like I've been here, for years, like just with the relationship that I have with them and how comfortable I am with them. Like it truly is a family, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. And so right now in the present, I'm just trying to soak up everything that I can and learn as much as I can and try and impact those girls in any way that I possibly can, as well as, try and leave my mark on this program, whatever that may be. Yes, I have those long-term goals, eventually, but I'm young and still up and coming, hopefully. So I'm kind of just a live in the moment type of person, and just gonna, I truly believe that God placed me at UTSA for a reason, and I wasn't expecting it. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and it has been the biggest blessing. So he's the only one that knows the plan for me. And he is the reason that I am here. So I'm just kind of leaving it in his hands and enjoying the opportunity that I have right now.
Yeah, and finally, the final question is, you've been at UTSA for only a short time, but in your short time being at UTSA, what do you enjoy most about, UTSA, and why do you think, UTSA is such a special place? You said a lot of nice things about it, so,
Yeah, I would say, the first thing is just the people. From the moment that I got here, I felt super accepted and welcomed. Whether that was, the support staff or my boss or the players or, the men's golf coaches, all that. We're in a hallway with a bunch of different sports, and I'm already good friends with a lot of the other coaches. And, I feel like I've known some of these people for years. Like it's crazy to think about that I just got here in July. So the people and the relationships is one of the biggest things. Like I have a really good relationship with my boss. I feel like that we complement each other really well and work really well together. And, I truly appreciate, her leadership and the impact that she's already made on, me as a person and on my coaching career. And the girls, like I absolutely love each and every one of these girls that's on our team, and they've accepted me with open arms, and it's been just so fun to coach them, and they're just fun people to be around and all of that. And, the other thing is just, the level of play is just awesome. Like just to be able to coach these players, and to see them compete at such a high level, is really cool. Like they've had a lot of success against some big time Power 5, highly ranked teams. And for me to be able to wear this logo on my chest every day, like it's an honor and a privilege. It really is. And I wear it with great pride, and I get to be a part of this program, with a great, great boss and head coach to work under. And then the girls that I get to coach, like I couldn't be more proud to represent them in the university and things like that. So it's all around just honestly been a dream come true, and I couldn't be more grateful.